he's so physically gifted. He's so fast that sometimes you're like, man, you gotta just take that extra step, then hit it. But you don't want to take that aggressiveness away from him because it's hard for defenses to account for is how physical he runs. But I think as he sees more and more in this league, the sky's the limit because he has all the physical tools to go out there and be great.
Coverage on Sports Radio 810 is brought to you by Westlake Ace Hardware. Visit your local Westlake Ace Hardware today. Online at westlakehardware.com. Westlake Ace Hardware. Small projects, big know-how. Ask away.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
We have to ask you a funny question before we get into football. Coach Reed is ranked 4th of the best-looking coaches in the NFL. What do you think about that?
I think he should be higher, man. It's a good-looking gentleman out there. So he's got some swag to him, too, so he's got the personality to match.
You get so many pass attempts last week. I know you're used to it, right? You've done that a lot in college. But do you do anything with your arm? Take a little time off? You're going to pitch count during practice? What sort of things are you doing with your arm these days?
I don't. Ever since I've been young, I haven't really got sore, even when I pitched when I was younger. So usually just the normal stuff. I mean, we do different stuff that I do with my trainers and stuff like that. But other than that, I just try to keep that arm strength up and keep rolling.
When you face a former coach like a Doug Peterson, who knows you very well, how do you prepare knowing that they know a lot of things that helps you get to where you are?
Yeah, I have to ask because I actually wasn't here with Doug, so he got here he left right before I got here, and so I knew a lot of people that knew him and talked very highly of him, how great of a coach he was, and so I have to kind of go back and ask sometimes, like, hey, on this check, does he know like what this check means and stuff like that, so that we can change the code words, we can change stuff up, so that he doesn't have any intel on the stuff we're trying to get done.
Patrick, when you do throw that many times in a game, late in the game, do you feel like what you're seeing from the defense that they pretty much expect to pass this coming pretty regularly?
Not necessarily. I think we still do a good job of trying to mix it up, and obviously that game got a little out of hand as far as throwing the ball a little bit more than we wanted to as compared to running it, but it called for that, and to be able to do both, I think you've seen in games we've been able to run the ball a lot in some games, and then obviously there's games where you have to throw the ball. It's something that you have to do as an offense in order to succeed in this league is being able to do both, and that's something that I think we can do in this team.
When you said that the game called for that, what do you think about that?
Yeah, just the way that their team's built. Their D-line's a very good defensive line, especially against the run. They do a good job of being in the right gaps. Linebackers fly up and make plays, and so that day they had a good game plan for our run game. So we had to kind of use those shorter passes to kind of get those yards. And so that's just being able to be diverse as an offense. And I think the only thing next is we got to score some of those drives that we were kind of getting those yards, and that's something that we missed out on this last week.
Patrick, pretty big workload for you the other night. I'm imagining that's pretty exhausting, not only physically but mentally. How do you feel you handled that, and do you feel like you could have handled that kind of load early in your career, maybe your first year as a starter?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it. I mean, you don't know because you never have done it before. Sure. But at the same time, I feel like I could have went out there and competed. I think I did a good job of doing what it took to just kind of stay patient, even though stuff wasn't going our way, which is something I don't know if I could have done when I was younger in my career. I might have forced the issue a little bit more. But Coach Reed trusted me and trusted our offense to figure it out, and he kept calling plays and getting us into the right plays at the right time so that we were able to make it happen there at the end.
You guys were able to win the game, you were able to convert, but as you looked at your film, were you happy with all the decisions that you made to scramble, or did you sense, okay, maybe I could have did this differently?
I mean, there was definitely some decisions that I missed some throws that were out there. I think there was one time where it was going towards the other end zone. We didn't score in that. I thought I had McCole, and I kind of predetermined basically the cover 2 shell that he wasn't going to be open. And then there's the one down the middle of the field that I missed McCole, which I thought he was kind of getting in and out, and they somehow dropped him. And it's like another one you just predetermine. You think they're going to be in the right position, and then they don't end up being there. And so just trying to stay – when there's that many plays, you're going to miss throws. But whenever they're touchdown throws, you want to make sure you hit them. So I'm trying to go back and make sure I hit them whenever they're there.
Patrick, the last couple games, Isaiah was promoted to starter. What are you seeing from him?
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy who's going to continue to go out there and put his best effort, put his best step forward. And he's someone that plays hard. He runs the ball hard. But in this offense, I mean, you've seen him in the receiving room. You've seen the running back room, tight end room, other than Travis. It's going to be a different guy every week. And I think just having Isaiah out there, I mean, he's going to be that physical runner, can really gain those extra yards, fall forward. But then when you throw in guys like Clyde and Jet, all these guys, they're ready to go. It keeps those guys fresh, and it keeps them ready to go whenever their number's called during the game.
And he's He's a young guy, but can you see him progressing?
Oh, 100%. I mean, he's so physically gifted. He's so fast that sometimes you're like, man, you gotta just take that extra step, then hit it. But you don't want to take that aggressiveness away from him because it's hard for defenses to account for is how physical he runs. But I think as he sees more and more in this league, the sky's the limit because he has all the physical tools to go out there and be great.
Patrick, that 4th and 1 in overtime, you guys got timeout. You went and talked to Andy and Eric. Was that a talk about should you go for it, or was that a talk about play call you like? I just wanted that conversation.
Yeah, it was more play call. I think we figured we were going to go for it. We not only thought we were going to get it, but we trusted how our defense was playing. If we didn't get it, they could get us the ball back, and we could maybe get back in field goal range again. But we wanted to get to the perfect play call, and they actually did a pretty good job of covering the front side read of that play. But once that linebacker, that whole player, kind of pushed over towards Travis, I knew Juju was one-on-one on that backside. So just trusting in your guys to make plays, and Juju ran a good route, caught the ball, and got the first down.
They were asking you questions. Did you suggest that one, or is that one on your mind?
Yeah, that was one that we had talked about. So we had kind of talked about before going into the last drive. We got put in a situation where we needed one play. What were we thinking? And we had like a list of 3, and we were going to see how the defense was playing. And how the defense was playing, that was one of the plays that we had talked about. And I said that's the one I wanted to go with. And coaches, they trusted me and the guys to go out there and make a play happen in a big moment in the game.
Patrick, a lot of fans, people outside the building will probably look and see the Jags coming in and think this isn't a very good team, this should be an easy win. What's the danger factor with this team, and how, it's the NFL, you can't overlook people, but is this one of those games that could sneak up on you a little bit if you don't watch yourself?
No, I mean, it's not going to sneak up on you. I mean, if you look at the tape, I mean, the players that they have out there are really legit players. I mean, they're young, but they're fast, they're physical, they're big, they fly around to the ball, they play with confidence. And so we have a ton of respect for this team coming in. And if you see them, even the games they've lost, they've been in them. And they've made a mistake here and there that's cost them a game. But if you watch the tape, it doesn't show what their record looks like. And I think guys understand that it's going to be a heck of a football game, and we're going to have to play our best football in order to win.
Coming from a quarterback perspective, Trevor Lawrence, I mean, what are you seeing are the biggest threats that come from him?
Yeah, he's super talented. I mean, just kind of like a lot of guys on their team. I mean, he's young, so he's made mistakes, but I think you see the talent week in and week out. He makes a lot of big-time throws. He can run the ball better than people think, and he's someone that's won on every level he's been at. So you can see, I mean, they've kind of turned this around pretty quickly here. I mean, they haven't won the games, but you can tell the team has gotten a lot better over this last year. And so we understand that it's going to be a great challenge for us both sides of the ball, and that we're going to play a great game in order to win.
What are the challenges that go with Josh Allen specifically, and what he brings to the table?
Yeah, I mean, he's so gifted as a pass rusher, but also he's athletic enough to drop into coverage, and you don't see a lot of guys like that. But he's obviously he's a big physical guy, but he's fast. He does a good job with his hands and getting off blocks. And so they kind of have guys like that on both sides of the ball with Walker there now as well. So it'll be a great challenge for our guys to have on that whole entire defensive line. And it seems like week in and week out we're playing a great defensive line. So our offensive line is battling. I thought they did a great job this last week, and I think we can hopefully carry that momentum into this next week.